كويس. أنا اسمي تابان تشارلز، Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Juba City Council. In the first place, I want to thank all the teams that exerted efforts to confiscate these foodstuffs and medicines. This happened last month in an inspection exercise in Juba City Council, having been tipped of expired goods and drugs in the pharmacies and in our markets, main markets, particularly Konyo Konyo. Our teams went for inspection, and indeed, like you see at the background, we have big quantity of maize flour that is expired. This flour was destined for an institution in this country, but because it has been expired, somebody thought he wants to make money at the expense of lives of our citizens, and he started rebagging it. You can see there is a machine which rebags this expired maize flour. This is very unfortunate because sometimes we think our enemies are outside, and yet we are the very ones who are killing ourselves. This food that has been confiscated, according to the statements of the culprit, he claims much of it goes to the states outside Juba. And it's unfortunate that our citizens in the states are blind people who do not know how to read and to justify whether this food is good for human consumption or not. These persons decide to sell these expired goods. And when arrested, we also received a lot of resistance from very recognized institutions protecting criminals to the highest degree. This is very unfortunate in this country. Secondly, we were also blamed for having made an inspection. And yet this is one of our primary functions as a local government. Some people don't understand their roles, their lines of operations, and they interfere into our jobs. Now, like this, how do we wait for a certain ministry, for example, to come and intervene when our people are dying? And yet we have operational officers on the ground. We have public health officers. We have all the departments in Juba City Council that are supposed to reflect our common goal in this state or in the country as a whole. Unfortunately, we have undergone real problems with our other levels of government. Earlier on, we had a problem with alcohol and spirits. Like said earlier, we are losing people every day, not people who are elderly to that extent, but our youngsters are dying every day, and we are burying not less than 5 to 6 people daily. The City Council is facing problems of this nature. Now, when we go for inspections and confiscate such dangerous commodities, we are blamed for this. I want to really call to all other levels, all other institutions in the state to cooperate with the Juba City Council, because if we don't and we want to make business on expired goods, then this will be unfortunate because most of our young people will go and we will have no people to carry on the banner of this country in the nearest future. For this reason, I want to call everybody, the teams in Juba City Council, to step up the inspection exercises, irrespective of all the resistances, particularly the CID department and other organized forces. They must cooperate with our administrative officers and public health officers and all other departments of competence in the Juba City Council to make sure these practices are brought to an end. I also want to call upon the leadership of the Juba City Council to make sure these culprits are brought to books. We know they have connections with the profound persons, but the leadership must make sure our mandate to perform in this country is upheld. And by so doing, all these culprits that have undergone these practices must be brought to books. And where necessary, in other places, such people are supposed to be sentenced and by firing squad, really, if we care and if we really value the lives of our people. Like this, if we continue, I don't know where we will lead and end. So my call is to the citizens also to take part. We have enemies everywhere. In the market, we have people who are working against the interests of these people in this country. In the streets, we have people who are working against the interests of citizens of this country. This can be reflected by the way we behave, by the way waste is being spent or spread all over. This is intentional. And if we are to fight them, we need your collective efforts. As citizens of this country, as citizens of Juba City Council, let us all be aware and contribute to our own safety through information sharing. If you find an issue which is displeasing, please call Juba City Council at the shortest possible time so that remedies can be made. If we don't do this, definitely we will not help ourselves and we will lose the credibility of being a citizen. Because security, good health, education, and all other services are supposed to be contributory services from all of us. If you give us information, we will give you the service you need at the right time and the right place, through the right people and the right channels. Thank you very much. Help us all to make this country worth living.